Waterloo Road Series 5 episode, well, you know what we're on, review. The episode story I'm going to do first. Emily wants Denzel to come round, which is adorable. I love them so much. But Lindsay's a bit apprehensive with being, we'll find that out later, why she doesn't want us to stay around with boys so much. But they are such a cute little couple. I love them so much. All the girls fancy Chris Mead, as in deputy head. Adorable little guy, bless him. Lindsay can't see her mum, like they're saying, no, you can't see your mum, and she feels that's really unfair. You know, she stuck up for her mum and now she can't even see her. Philip is still on this whole comedy thing to try and impress Ruth, which is adorable, but you're gonna get caught out, you just know you are. Rachel talks to Emily about how she's coping with the trial coming up. Chris gives private lessons to this girl called Vicky. Now, we haven't really seen any of Vicky up until now, so this is her first episode for coursework, because she needs help with her coursework in science, so he said he's going to help. Yeah. And he takes her phone. You know, he confiscates her phone because someone rings her in the middle and he takes it away. And then finds out when it rings that where she works. And she's working as a lap dancer kind of person, which isn't good. She's underage, that kind of thing. And when Chris finds out and drags her out of there, she threatens blackmail on him. You know, it's not going to be me that's going to get in trouble, it's going to be you, because you were there, I'll say you were touching me, whatever. So pathetic, by the way. Rachel isn't on Chris's side, like, apparently she's been seeing it as well, like, Chris told Sambuca and her friend that if they worked really hard in science and wanted to do A-level science, then he'd help them as well, with their coursework. Rachel then finds the girls, like, practicing the periodic table, and is then a bit suspicious about why they all want to have private lessons. But, yeah, so Chris ends up not telling her right then. Chris tries talking to Vicky instead, but that doesn't stop her, or help at all, to be honest. Paul tries asking Vicky out, and she shuts him down. Lindsay's getting now suspicious of Chris and Vicky, because Chris keeps trying to talk to her, like putting that arm, bless him, and there's a lot of, like, him holding her arm, and of course she can't hear it through the window, but it's, yeah, it did look a little bit suspicious. Philip tries to do comedy in the common room, like Ruth set up this comedy club thing, and Philip's meant to go and show off all his talent, and nah, doesn't really happen. Yeah, but in the end it gets better. And in the end it's fine, you know, basically he's just taking the pee out of himself, but it works. That was quite funny. Yeah, Josh, Tom's son, tries to set him and his mum and his dad up. That does not go well. In the end with that, they have a meal together, but after the meal she reveals that she had Josh deliberately. It was planned for her, and she basically just used Tom to get a child. Not a good idea. Joe and Steph didn't sleep together. We saw them wake up next to each other last week, but we find out in this one that Steph just passed out and Joe put her in a bed. It wasn't like anything sexual, just needed to kick somewhere, really. Chris goes to Vicky's house, which in the beginning seems like a really bad idea. You know, you're going from bad to worse. But he finds out that Vicky's dad has actually got arthritis and hasn't had a job for a very long time, which is why she's having to work and pay the bills, because her mum left him and took everything with her. Yeah. Lindsay tells Rachel about her dad abusing her. So, yeah, it was a sweet moment. She was sitting under the tree and Rachel went over and talked to her, and she just told her everything, which, you know, makes us feel a little bit more understanding of her now, you know. Yeah. Characters and cast. Probably should start with Vicky, considering this was her first major episode where we got to see who she was. I think she's a good girl with problems, with a lot of problems on her shoulders, and I think she'll make a very good character. She seemed really nice. I don't think she'd stir the pot deliberately, or she might do, but I think she's just trying to make the best of a bad situation. Yeah, like her character a lot. You want to see a bit more of her? We know all about her family life, but other than her being a stripper, we don't really know what she's like. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to see her interact more with other students. That sounds really weird, but do you know what I mean? Nice to see more of Chris. I said, it might have been last review or the review before, that I wanted to see more of Chris. And yeah, it was nice to have the whole episode kind of based around him. The girls also, something I missed out from the episode bit, the girls took loads of pictures of his bum when he's bending over and put it on the school website. I thought that was an absolutely fantastic idea, to be honest. Yeah. Love Denzel and Emily. They're just so cute. I love them so much. Such an adorable little couple. Rachel stood up for Max, and it's nice to see her getting a bit of backbone and being like, no, I'm the head teacher, back off. It was nice to see. Yeah, really enjoyed that bit. Max was like, no, leave her alone. She was just like, no, let me do my job. And I was like, yeah, go. Oh, yeah. And like I said, just nice to see what Lindsay is, really. Like, we've seen all this hard front that she puts on, but it was nice to see the bit behind the hard front. Best bit for this episode was really hard to choose. For sheer uncomfortableness, it would have to be the bit where Chris is taking Vicky out of this club thing, and he's then, well, first of all, we're going to go tell Rachel, and she's probably going to tell the police, and then Vicky's just like, no, please, I'll do anything, and she tries to come on to him, and it was just so uncomfortable. It was just like, whoa, what are you doing? It was so uncomfortable moment, but that was really good. I also really liked the bit where Lindsay's watching in the window of the science room, and Chris is there, and Denzel and Emily are sharing the same book and leaning over to each other and reading the book, and then Chris comes over to help them and puts his arms either side of the two, like, because they're quite small, aren't they, so it's just like, yeah, like either side, and you can see Lindsay being like, if he touches my sister, I'm actually going to go mental, but we know he wouldn't do that. But it's just that, oh my god, it's happening again, what am I going to do, kind of thing from Lindsay, and you see Denzel and Emily in it, and that's nice going on, and you also see Chris's kind of uncomfortableness to see Lindsay judging and watching him. Yeah, I thought this was a really good episode, better than the ones we've been having, much better. Yeah. Okay then, speak to you next week, bye.